Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo. Oh, Premanandi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. We're going to be doing Canto 10, the chapter 21, the whole chapter. The Gopis glorify the song of Krishna's flute. And we'll start by reciting text 10. This mic has a little bit of a buzzing noise. Can you hear it? Is there? Oh, okay. All right. Oh. Vrindavanam Sakhi Bhuvo Vitanoti Kirtim. Yat Devaki Sutta Parambuja Labdha Lakshmi. Govinda Venu Manu Matta Mayura Nrityam. Prekshadrisanva Varan. Wait a minute. Prekshadrisanva Varatanya Samasta Sattvam. Vrindavanam Sakhi Bhuvo Vitanoti Kirtim. Yad Devaki Sutta Padambuja Labdha Lakshmi. Govinda Venu Manu Matta Mayura Nrityam. Prekshadri Sanva Varatanya Samasta Sattvam.
Vrindavanam Sakhi Bhuvo Vitanoti Kirtim.
Vrindavanam Sakhi Bhuvo Vitanoti Kirtim.
Yad Devaki Sutta Padambuja Labdha Lakshmi.
Yad Devaki Sutta Padambuja Labdha Lakshmi.
Govinda Venu Manumatta Mayura Nityam.
Govinda Venu Manumatta Mayura Nityam.
Vikshadri Samasta Sattvam.
Vikshadri Samasta Sattvam.
Vrindavanam Sakhi Bhuvo Vitanoti Kirtim.
Yad Devaki Sutta Padambuja Labdha Lakshmi. Govinda Venu Manumatta Mayura Nityam.
Okay, let's do the word for word all together. Hold on. Okay. Vrindavanam, Vrindavan, Saki, O friend, Bhuva of the earth, Vitanoti spreads, Kirtin, the glories, Yat, because, Devaki Sutta of the son of Devaki, Pada, Ambuja, from the lotus feet, Labda, receive, Lakshmi, the treasure, Govinda Venu, the flute of Govinda, Anu, upon hearing, Mata, maddened, Mayura, of the peacocks, Nityam, in which there is the dancing, Priksha, seeing, Adrisanu, upon the peaks of the hills, Avarata, stunned, Anya, other, Samasa, all, Sattvam, creatures. Let's say this all together. Oh friend, Vrindavan is spreading the glory of the earth, having obtained the treasure of the lotus feet of Krishna, the son of Devaki. The peacocks dance madly when they hear Govinda's flute, and when other creatures see them from the hilltops, they all become stunned. All right, who would like to read the purport? Or at least part of it.
Srila Swami explains that because activities such as those described in this verse do not occur in any other world, the earth is unique. In fact, the earth's glories are being spread by wonderful Vrindavan because it is the place of Krishna's pastimes. The name Devaki also refers to Mother Yashoda, as stated in Brihad Vishnu Purana, Dve Namni Nanda Bharaya Yashoda Devaki Tivicha Ata Sakyam Abhutasya Devakya Shori Jayaya. The wife of Nanda had two names, Yashoda and also Devaki. Therefore, it was natural that she, the wife of Nanda, developed friendship with Devaki, the wife of Shori, Vasudeva. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains Krishna Leela as follows. In Vrindavan, the peacocks request Krishna, Govinda, please make us dance. Thus, Krishna plays his flute, and they surround him in a circle and dance in time with the rhythm of his melody. And while standing in the midst of their dancing, he also sings and dances. Then those peacocks were fully satisfied with his musical performance, out of gratitude, offer for his pleasure their own divine feathers. In the usual manner of musical performers, Krishna gladly accepts these presentations and places a feather upon the turban atop his head. Gentle animals such as deer and doves greatly relish the transcendental entertainment presented by Krishna, and to get a good view, they flock to the peaks of hills. Then, as they watch the breathtaking program, they become stunned in ecstasy. Srila Sanatana Goswami comments that because in Vrindavan, Krishna goes barefoot and can thus directly mark the earth with the symbols of his lotus feet, that transcendental land is even more glorious than Vaikuntha, where Vishnu wears slippers.
Om Jnanatirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshum Militandena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachadane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtacha Deshatarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so here, this chapter is a very beautiful description of Krishna and his flute and what he does with that flute and how it affects all the residents of Vrindavan. So we're seeing here that one of the things that Krishna does with his flute is that he entertains all the forest animals. The peacocks, it says the deer, and the doves, they all relish the transcendental entertainment. And to get a good view, they seen. So Krishna, he's more. Good response, like when any music, it hits the heart. So what to speak of Krishna's flute playing and the Mahamantra?
Against devotees, like for example, in Sri Shastakam, when Lord Chaitanya talks about how the tears are streaming down his face and his voice is choked with bliss.
Okay, so we were hearing about how some emotions are starting to flow, and now these emotions are becoming overwhelming, so that you can't even speak. Yeah, Krish.
One of the ecstatic symptoms of chanting the mantra is describing the devotion is becoming like speechless or dumbfounded.
Yeah, let's describe that, like choked up and stunned, right? Stunned in ecstasy. Yeah, and we would have seen that with Lord Chaitanya, that sometimes he would just be like, when you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, he would be stunned like that, and he would just become like a petrified wood. Who's that back there? Manan.
Hearing about Krishna from devotees of Krishna is even more powerful than hearing about Krishna from him directly.
Okay, yeah, so because the cowherd girls were speaking about Krishna, right? And it had that powerful effect. It wasn't that Krishna was speaking, but they were hearing each other speak about Krishna, and because they're all pure devotees, then it was having a really overwhelming effect. And it was also causing remembrance, right? That by hearing, by speaking, then that brings about remembrance. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. Okay, let's go to text 5.
Wearing a peacock feather ornament upon his head, blue karnika flowers on his ears, a yellow garment as brilliant as gold, and the Vajjayanti garland, Lord Krishna exhibited his transcendental form as the greatest of dancers as he entered the forest of Vrindavan, beautifying it with the marks of his footprints. He filled the holes of his flute with the nectar of his lips, and the cowherd boys sang his glories.
So,
of the deities and how they're so beautifully ornamented.
okay, so how does it relate to chanting and hearing?
Well,
about
we
Krishna?
chant for the deities, and when we chant for the deities, I feel like their beauty gets intensified.
Okay, so when we chant, then we come to appreciate the form of the deities, the beautiful form. Yeah, Kameshi?
I was thinking more of Harinam.
Okay.
When everybody dance in the streets and share with everybody gets in really ecstasy. And then when they say like the cow, her voice saying his glories, it's kind of like sharing the glories of Lord Krishna with everybody in the street.
Nice, yeah. So you can imagine here that Krishna's walking through the pasturing grounds with the cowherd boys. He's playing his flute, and then the cowherd boys are singing his glories. So it's like that when we go out on Harinam, then we're singing Krishna's glories. The Mahamantra is there. And yeah. Nitai?
Well, based on what Kameshi said, I could just understand that when we're sharing the glories of like doing Harinam on the streets, it's as if Krishna is also there and he's walking like those streets with like decorated like this. Like he's so happy with the devotees performing Harinam. And then also I was thinking when we see the deities and they're so beautifully decorated, we cannot just like keep it to ourselves. We tell our friends, like, did you look at Krishna? Like he is wearing this, like he's wearing something on his belt, and look at his earrings, and it's just like the decoration comes out.
His form, yeah, Krishna comes out. Yeah, when we chant, it's natural that when you say the name of someone, you think of the person. You get like a visual image of the person in your mind immediately when you say their name. So that's the idea, is that when we chant Hare Krishna, then we think of Krishna. We can actually, visualize Krishna within our minds. So the gopis are talking, they're hearing Krishna's flute, and they're starting to speak about Krishna. They're remembering Krishna, and they're specifically remembering his form. So they start to describe his form. So it's like that. We hear, we glorify, we remember, and we focus on the form of Krishna becomes manifest in our consciousness. Okay, text 6.
O king, when the young ladies in Radha hear the sound of Krishna's flute with captivate minds of all living beings, they all embrace one another and begin describing.
Okay. Astasaki?
Oh,
You're good.
okay, when the young
No,
ladies,
you're supposed to tell us how this relates to chanting Hare Krishna or hearing Bhagavatam. How this effect takes place for us. See, the gopis are hearing Krishna's flute. Their minds are becoming, which captivates their minds, and they start embracing each other and talking about it.
think of Harinam.
Okay, what about Harinam?
Well, Sankirtan, Harinam, Sankirtan, we're all together, we're all chanting, and we're
Purnamrita?
This made me think of Krishna's flute manifest in the form of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And when we read the Bhagavatam with people, we all individually have our own realizations. And then we just come together, and we may not embrace each other physically, but we connect on a deeper level because of those realizations. And then we begin glorifying and describing the Bhagavatam.
Yeah, there's actually a very strong like bonding experience that, when we sit together and deeply discuss Krishna's pastimes and our realizations from chanting and what we've learned about Krishna. It's one of the 6 loving exchanges, well, 2 of the 6 loving exchanges between devotees, that you reveal your mind in confidence, inquire confidentially. So when we ask questions about Krishna related to Krishna consciousness or devotional service, and we hear and we discuss and have those exchanges, then that creates a bond of love, of transcendental loving affection between the devotees, which is like this embrace. They embrace one another. They become closer to each other. And Krishna wanted this. Krish, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was just reminded of Lord Chaitanya's pastime, this depiction of him in the forest and all the animals around him all chanting Mahamantra with him and dancing.
And the deer were embracing the tigers and all that. Did you ever have that experience that you have some like, you had an argument with a devotee and you have maybe some resentment or some awkwardness or something in the relationship, and then you're in kirtan and you just start dancing in kirtan, and the devotees, you're both dancing, and you just look at each other, it all just goes away. You just feel like embracing each other. That happens a lot, right? So that's the effect of the holy name. It just wipes out all, impediments and bad feelings, and it evokes love for each other. So that's what's happening here. All right, text 7.
The cowherd girls said, "Oh friends, those eyes that see the beautiful faces of the sons of Maharaj Nanda are certainly fortunate." As these 2 sons entered the forest surrounded by their friends, driving the cows before them, they hold their flutes to their mouths and glance lovingly upon the residents of Vrindavan. For those who have eyes, we think there is no greater object of vision.
Right. So here we have a few things. One is that the devotees who see Krishna being very fortunate, certainly fortunate, and that Krishna's glance, while Krishna's playing his flute, he's lovingly glancing on greater experience. Anytime.